And to share his journey, we have Christian Olsen, Associate VP, Industry Principal of Biologics, Dotmatics, who is helping to make the world a healthier, cleaner, and safer place to live. So without further ado, let's welcome Christian. Hey, Christian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Perfect. It's great to have you on the podcast. I mean, just diving straight into it, love for you to share some anecdotes on your professional journey and what inspired you to join Dotmatics.
Yeah, great question. So really what inspired me, just by nature, I'm curious. And the way I got to where I am today wasn't necessarily a straight line. I started in engineering school and took a microbiology class, which pretty much changed my life. A fantastic German professor who just opened up my whole world to some complexities that I had no idea about. I was also in a parallel track in computer science. And so at that time, there was a really interesting convergence between computer science and biology data analysis because genome sequencing was really just getting started. The DNA encoding proteins and what those proteins were responsible for, all of the interrogating power that computers offered. It was just a very electric time. And so that's really what changed me from what I think would have been an interesting career as an engineer to an even more interesting career in trying to understand and untangle biological systems.
And what inspired you to join Dotmatics?
Yeah, so, well, Dotmatics is, as you know, it's a software company. We're a leading R&D software company where really we're connecting science and data and decision-making. And the software allows you to interrogate biological data from a number of different angles. And so it really allows you to put together pieces of the puzzle. Naturally, I'm a problem solver or a puzzle solver. So getting into this company or working with some amazing people who are also like-minded problem solvers and very curious, it was a great opportunity to kind of explore not only my own natural curiosity, but to apply it to real life important problems.
Makes perfect sense. That's actually fantastic. It's quite a journey you've had, to be honest. So now speaking of scientific R&D, how do you think data contributes to maximizing impact in this field? I mean, are there any trends that stand out to you?
Yes, there are lots of trends. So the sequencing boom has happened. And so by sequencing, meaning sequencing the genomes of organisms. So that's one type of data, but there are lots of other types of data as they relate to human health or public health. I kind of look at it as global health because it's not just, our community here, but it's everybody around the world. So there are a number of different data types that we work with. The trend is, how do we take all of these data types as different facets of a shape and use those data types together to make better inferences, to make better decisions, maybe to provide treatments or cures in ways that we couldn't have with only one stream of data. So really the advantage that I see right now is just kind of this confluence of data that we have access to.
Fascinating. I mean, that's really amazing. Talking about the latest buzzword, right? AI. How do you think AI will be the game changer for scientific R&D? I mean, do you actually see it as a contributor, or do you think there's not much to change out there?
No, there's a lot of opportunity there. As with all technology, there's a certain amount of hype in the beginning. So, we want to be sober in our expectations or realistic in our expectations, though AI does provide some very promising opportunities that we are looking to explore. Fundamentally, we are looking at AI as a force multiplying tool to accelerate scientific R&D, really by moving through large amounts of data of different data types, as well as at different time point scales, okay, to generate insights that we would have missed had we only had one data stream, or had a couple of data streams, but not a lot of data. So It allows us to go both broad and deep in a systematic way.
That sounds really exciting. Now, could you probably share some lessons from recent Dotmatics virtual mini summit?
Yeah, so I think the lessons are quite grounded, right? First, if you do have a lot of data, you need the
Mm-hmm.
data to be connected or interrelated. They also have to be well structured. So we're very focused right now on helping our scientists and researchers, organizations get AI ready. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
another very common buzzword or term is data silo. And so
Mm-hmm.
our intention is to break down data silos. So we can get rid of these naturally occurring compartmentalized sources of data,
Mm-hmm.
get rid of those, flatten the data out, and then connect them. So once you've got a well-structured, high-performant database, and you have a volume of data, then you can start making connections. Then you're
True.
actually AI ready. So
Mm-hmm.
there's kind of two prongs to this approach. If you don't have a lot of data, AI really is not realistic. If your data are in a shape and form and siloed, then you're not going to be able to make the connections. So we kind of have to
Mm-hmm.
have both in order to be ready to implement AI to gain insights.
Makes perfect sense. I mean, really sounds like a valuable experience. Lastly, but not least, I mean, I'm actually intrigued by your motto of helping make the world a healthier, cleaner, and safer place to live, right? I mean, all of us want that in the near future. We're struggling to get out there. So,
We
could you share your perspective on that?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a couple different ways to answer this, and I'll answer it personally.
Mm-hmm.
So the first is that we are able to do more with less, meaning
Mm-hmm.
we are able to move through a lot more data for the same amount of money spent. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
if you imagine something like a drug therapeutic funnel where you've got a lot of candidates at the top that you want to screen, and then
Mm-hmm.
as you iterate through your R&D process, that funnel gets narrower and narrower, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's a typical amount of time and money associated with that. So, you can think about maybe 10-year time scale and $2.5 billion to get a drug
Got it.
beginning to end into market.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that really excites me is that what we're working on, which I believe is truly innovative, is that we're able to widen that funnel. We're able to canvas a lot more targets in a shorter amount of time. So you're getting more bang for your buck. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're also able to reanalyze data. So perhaps there are some things that you missed because you didn't have the technology you have today. So you can quickly and easily go back, take the data that you had, provided it's in the right volume and structure, and reanalyze it with the different perspectives that you've gained. So that's fantastic, just from an R&D perspective. From a global perspective, we are able to make collaborations around the world much more smoothly. So we can have multiple sites, whether it's in the United States or in Asia or in Africa, and we can set up, discrete hubs that can collaborate and can work together in ways they couldn't have before. So
Mm-hmm.
that's huge, especially when we're thinking about global health and we're thinking about disease surveillance. So whether it's COVID or malaria or tuberculosis, these pathogens that have dogged us for a long time, even new
Mm-hmm.
and emerging pathogens, we're able to work more efficiently and more effectively.
Mm-hmm. Makes perfect sense. That is really insightful, Christian. And just a personal question, based on your motto itself, do you think we are quite out there in terms of achieving these goals about the healthier, cleaner, and safer places to live in, based on technological advancements, or do you see we still struggling out there? It's going to take a mammoth effort from our sides, from all the companies out there trying to make the world a better place.
Yeah, that's a complicated question. So I'm by nature optimistic. I'm optimistic because we can work smarter, not harder. And I believe
Mm-hmm.
that resonates with everybody. I also believe what resonates with everyone is the good of the community, right? And so I believe we have a clear path forward toward that, though, we're going to have some challenges. Not everybody has the same resources or in the same location, so there's definitely a disparity. But I think with what we're doing, we can level the playing field and allow more people to the R&D world. So yeah, I'm very optimistic about it.
Perfect. I really liked your perspective out there. You weren't diplomatic in your answer though. So that's really something I really appreciate.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to deny that there are some real challenges out there, for sure. But to be very British, if the thing is so obvious, then why talk about it? So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I really enjoyed hosting you in our podcast, Christian. Really enjoyed you hosting on our podcast Tuesdays with Trailblazers. And thank you so much all for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and please leave us a review. And do check out Dotmatics, a company which is connecting data science, data, and decision making. Until next time, stay tuned with TechEdge AI for more insights into all things AI and technology. Till we meet again, signing off, your host, Sadesh.